So I'm going to start off my makeup with applying Nykaa's primer. It's the one that's like with the pink cap and it's for pores. For my eye base, I'm using Maybelline Superstay Foundation in the 310 shade. I really love this foundation. It's super full coverage and it works excellent as like base for eye makeup or even as a concealer. Like on my lazy days, I just, dab it around on my dark spots and that's it. To set that base, I'm going to use MAC's Mineralize Skin Finish in medium golden and I'm just going to dust it lightly. You can use any powder you want. Then I'm using MAC's Eye Kohl in the shade Costa Riche, and please excuse my stencil. I know it's just like a toned box piece that I wanted just to have like a fine edge and like a stencil for my eye makeup. Like I didn't want my eye makeup to go all over the place, so this was a good way of instead of putting a tape, I held a little bit of the cardboard piece. Now this eyeliner doesn't have to be in any specific way. I really like MAC Kohls because they make excellent eyeshadow bases. They smudge, but at the same time they hold shadows really in place. With this flat brush, I'm just going to blend it out. And again, I'm using that sad stencil of mine, and then I'm just going to blend it in place just so we don't have any patchiness going on under our eyeshadow. So just for like smoothness, not that it gives any patchiness, but it just gives like this really nice smooth base. Then I'm using this Makeup Revolutions Reloaded palette in Hypnotic shade, and I'm going to use the white shade like just to apply all over the lid, making it a nice base to blend out the other colors on top of it. I'm using this flat brush from Pack Cosmetics, I think, and yeah, just tapping all that eyeshadow in place and just making sure everything is smooth and nice. So to set the brown areas, I'm going to use this soft brown color from the palette, and I'm using a Sigma brush. I forgot the number what the brush is, but I'll link everything down in description box, so don't worry. You will know what product I'm using exactly. Yeah, and then I am just going to dust this in my crease as well, just so we have a smooth transition. Taking some bronzy shade on that same brush, I'm going to tap it in place over the brown outer V, but not exactly like really outside of our V area, just within the lid area. I hope that makes sense because yeah, like you can see I am just tapping it in place, and I'm not rubbing this. Basically you just want to have like a soft touch of bronze brown color going on. Like I got bored of using matte browns all the while, so decided to go with like this bronzy shade. I'm using a clean fluffy brush just to like blend everything in the crease so we don't have any harsh edges. I'm going with this Mars Glowzilla palette with that golden eyeshadow. I have wet the brush with some setting spray and I am pressing it all over my eyelid. Now, I really packed on this highlighter. I really like using highlighters as eyeshadows, but then I felt like this highlighter isn't doing the justice that I want a highlighter to do when it comes to like shiny eyeshadows. But it works. It's not like it's going to give you a dramatic effects, but it definitely works, I would say. This is a MAC concealer palette. I think it's in the shade medium, and I'm using the orange shade to correct under my eyes. And also I'm going to use this around my face, like my mouth area and on the cheeks, wherever I feel like I have pigmentation going on around my face, because I want to have the base really flawless. I want to make sure that there's no grayness showing in this particular look, especially because it's a festive look. And also the foundation that I'm going in with is slightly on the cooler tone side, so I want to make sure everything is looking flawless for a festive season. So for the foundation, I am using L'Oreal Infallible Foundation. I'm using the shade 140. It's supposed to be actually 140 warm or sun beige or something like that, but they sent me the shade Cool Undertone. It's just called Cool Undertone 140. Now I have used Infallible Foundation way in the past and I have always loved their formula, and I really like how this formulation as well sits well on the skin. Right now I'm not looking really the best because of the orange corrector, but trust me, guys, I felt like as soon as this foundation started oxidizing on my face, it actually looked quite good. The flat brush is incredibly nice. It's from Swiss Beauty. Make sure you get your foundation in the edges of your hair, like the perimeters of your face, because sometimes there's like a line of demarcation where you can tell that where your foundation ends and your hairline starts. To moisturize my lips, I'm just using a little bit of MAC lip gloss on its own. Yeah, and I went in with a little bit of foundation on my other side just to make sure it's covered fully. I wanted a full coverage effect of this foundation. For my concealer, I'm using this MAC Studio Finish Concealer in NC30 shade. Now, this one is pretty dry on its own. I don't like to use it just by the brush. I like to warm the product with my finger and apply it on the under eye area. Next, I'm using the brush just to blend out any creases that might be happening under the eye area. Adding a little bit of more product, I am going to just blend it out a little bit. So as my highlighting concealer, I'm using the Swiss Beauty concealer. This concealer has a little bit of fragrance, and it doesn't really give me full coverage, so I don't like to use it on its own. I'm just going to use this to highlight the face. Also, this fragrance, it's pretty strong, and I don't think I'm comfortable with fragrances in my foundations and concealer, to be honest. And we are going to blend that out with this Real Techniques brush, just in place. I'm just tapping in motion and not really moving it, or rubbing the brush too much into my skin. I know people like to use beauty blenders to blend all this out, but then honestly, I'm not a huge fan of beauty blenders. I feel they soak a lot of product, and then that just makes me feel like I'm wasting product. So I prefer brushes always. I'm very loyal to my brushes. So notice how I'm blending the whole product with just tapping motions. I'm not swiping or rubbing. This is what I mean when I feel like product lifting happens when I'm using a blender. But that doesn't happen when I'm using a brush, just using tapping motions. And also, if your beauty blenders tend to have a larger surface area, so I don't know how to get in small corners of my face. So to set all of that, I'm using the Insights Pro Banana Powder. Now this banana powder is really hard to get out of the cotton, which is actually a good thing. If you spill or drop that cotton, it's not going to spill out too much product. But yeah, I like how it looks on the face. The finish it gives is very flawless, I felt. It's not very pigmented. It's pretty light, almost translucentish, but it does have a little bit of color. And it gave me instant brightening, and I felt like it gave me like a filter sort of an effect under the eye area, especially with that concealer, because that concealer just doesn't work for me as well as I want it to. This was my first time using that powder, and I was quite pleased with its performance. I'll see how it performs over time in hot, humid climate. Today I was just sitting in the air conditioning, so it did work well. I don't know about outside. For brows, I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Pomade in the shade Ebony. And this is one of my favorite products, and I have been using this same product for like past not five, about 4 years. And it's been with me for a very long time. I just need like a tiny bit, and it just works. But I do want to try some new brow products. So if you guys have any recommendations, let me know in the comments down below, and I would definitely like to try those out. Again, you'll see me fidgeting with the brush because yes, I want to make sure everything is flawless, making sure there's no like powder streaks or anything. Taking a little bit of mineralized skin finish again on the fluffy brush, I'm going to go all over my face, making sure I'm nice and matte. And since my skin is prone to being a little oily these days, I feel powder really helps me with that. Especially Max Mineralized Skin Finish is like the bomb. I have been using it since forever. Then I'm just sharpening the brows a little bit. I'm very much into like thin brows. I think I no longer want to have those super fluffy brows like before, but these are not very thin, I know, but I still really like the fact that they are thin-ish, I would say. Then I'm just outlining my inner waterline with this K Beauty's Kajal, and it's very intense black. It does crumble a little bit as over time, like say about at the end of 8 hours, it will probably crumble a little bit, but it's a very good long lasting Kajal. So 8 to 10 hours it does stay, but then it crumbles. I am also going to be tightlining my upper lash line as well as my lower lash line to make sure that I have that soft smokiness going on. And I'm going to wing ever so softly on the outer corners. So I'm going to tightline my upper lash line with the same kajal and making sure that I get every nook and cranny of my lash line. I want to make sure that I get that slightly the effect of having thicker lashes without having to worry about fake lashes or even curling my lashes, because these days I feel curling my lashes just breaks my lashes and then it takes forever to grow them out. And I also feel like using false lashes has not been in my favor. I feel the lash glue really makes my eyes itchy, so I'm just laying low on false lashes. Maybe I should find some good magnetic eyelashes, those like give really good effect, I think. But I'm not sure if they're available in the Indian market much. I need to research on that. So, more on that later. But then, right now, we are just going back to applying a kajal, and I went beyond my lash line and, just decided to wing it out and going to set that in place. This kajal needs to be set a little bit because it can give you panda eyes. Instead of using a black eyeshadow, I decided to go with this matte blue. I'm so impressed by these Nykaa eyeshadows, to be honest. They are so good in quality. Like, they are quite cheap, honestly, for the price once they are in the sale. Normally, they are like 300 to 350, I think, MRP. But then you can get them for as cheap as 225 on a very lucky day. So these ones I got for 225, I think, because they were on sale. But yeah, I am gonna just back and forth go with the kajal and the blue eyeshadow, and I'm going to just wing it out ever so slightly. This adds like a little bit of an oomph, I feel, instead of going just with black or brown. Dark blue or navy just makes everything look so beautiful. So this look is pretty versatile. If you want to wear like a blue sari, even that would work with it. In fact, you can wear any sari or any outfit with this eye makeup because it's just so simple. I'm using that little tapered brush to make sure that I get in the corner of my eyes, and then I'm going to dust off some little bit of that banana powder, making sure that no like fallouts. Not that there were any fallouts with that eyeshadow, but I'm just very picky about my blending and my powders, I feel. Using this matte blush to just contour my cheekbones just to carve out my face. I feel like lately my face is looking pretty round and I feel like I need a lot of contouring powder. It's something that I really like. I feel I have good cheekbones, so why not get them out even more with the contouring powder? Also, notice how little I apply on the perimeter of my face because I feel like I have a smaller forehead, so I don't like to put too much contouring powder right over there. Mostly just on the cheekbone area, under the cheekbone area. This blush by Forever 52 is just like amazing. I love the color, it's beautiful. The color is amazing. Let me get that straight. I feel like there is a lot of fallout with this powder blush. It could have been better in the quality wise because it should have been like visible more on the camera, but somehow it's not. Like, I feel the camera doesn't do justice to it, to be honest. So every time I swipe some blush from the pan, I do see a lot of fallout, but the colors are really pretty. And I'm just going to carve under my cheekbones with the same banana powder, and then again, once again, going with just with the brush, I'm going to clean up, well, not clean up, just make sure everything is blended and nice. Then we're going to go with the earrings, and we will do the mascara now. I'm using Lancome's Idole Mascara. I didn't really have much anything going on that day, so I was just using this one because it's not waterproof. But if you have like a party or a festive event, I would recommend using something that is waterproof. Now, some of my favorite budget-friendly mascaras are the Maybelline ones. The Maybelline Lash Sensational has been my die-hard favorite. The other one would be probably the L'Oreal Telescopic Mascara. It's really good. I like the thin brush that it has, and not sure if I can get my hands on it right now, but I'll definitely try to. It's one of my favorite lashes game to do, with the L'Oreal mascara. Anyways, here I'm just going under my lower lash line and just did 2 coats of mascara. I'm going in with this Mars powder highlight again on the high points of the face. I was not happy with this palette because it's not really very glowy. It doesn't show that well even in person. I sprayed some setting spray and made sure I applied the powder on top of it, and then I felt like it wasn't working either. Like, it just gave a very subtle glow. Well, we like subtle glow, but then at the same time we want it to show as well, right? This mask glitter palette was broken, that's why I was holding it in that weird way. And I'm just tapping the gold shade all over my lid, well, mostly in the inner corners, to have that glittery moment. It's a good palette, I would say, for the price. Like, you don't need glue or anything, and it just stays put for a long time. Using the same highlighter in the inner corner areas, just the lighter one, I think. Not the white one, but of course, the light champagne color one. I'm just using that in the inner corner to just open my eyes a little bit more. Then on the brow bone and also on the bridge of the nose, I don't like too much highlighter on my nose, to be honest. I don't like that shiny Rudolph nose these days. Um, but for the hair, we are just going to go sleek with it. I sprayed some hairspray accidentally in my eye. My eye is fine, but then that was quite painful. So yeah, here you can see I'm trying to get my part right. I wanted to do edges, but I just couldn't do the edges because I don't know why. I don't have the right products, I guess. And then yeah, and I'm also not really good at doing edges, I think. I really need a lot of practice for those. However, this is what my sleek hair is looking like. I added the crescent moon bindi. I feel it gives a little bit of a traditional, at the same time, a nice different twist to the whole makeup. I added some more of that blush. I felt like the camera is really not doing justice to that blush. I'm adding some more of that highlighter on the high point, especially the cheekbone area. And now for the fun part. Now this is the first lip combination we are doing. I'm using MAC's lip liner in Cork, and I'm going to outline my lips basically with this one. This is such a perfect neutral brown pencil for us brown skin tone girls. I think this is just so perfect. If you're medium to dusky skin tones, you'll really like this lip liner. I like to take a lip brush and just like smudge lip liner in the inner side of the lip to make sure that it doesn't have any harsh lines on the lip. It's just like a smooth transition. I'm going to use this mask lipstick in the shade Brown Sugar. This brown is a little bit on the cool gray toned brown, I think. It's not super dark. It's very similar to Cork lip liner, you can see. Just a tad bit gray, and I really like that. The only con of this lipstick is that it has this horrible bubblegum smell. Well, the bubblegum smell isn't as bad. It's the aftertaste that it leaves in the mouth. Like, as soon as you apply lipstick, and then it has that perfumey taste in your mouth, and it's just like not pleasant. I'm sensitive to those things, so it makes me want to throw up. I just smoothed the whole thing with a lip liner. I wanted to show you guys how the whole looked with the sari on. And yeah, this is my first lip combo for this makeup look. My second lipstick for choice is this Insights Pro liquid lipstick in the shade Girl on Fire. I love this lipstick. Like, it's my perfect brown color. It's brown but with a hint of like reddishness to it. It is the most brown friendly lipstick that I have ever seen. It's like amazing. I would wear this lipstick like every single day if given a choice. It's my perfect, slightly on the grungy edge, but it's still not too dull. For the fourth combination, well, actually, third combination, I added some MAC lip gloss to the center of my lips. And this is for the people who love glosses or, just want moisture on their liquid lipsticks. Now I'm doing the last combination. This is Swiss Beauty's lip liner in Cherry Brown. It is such a beautiful muted red lip liner. It's red, but it's not your very bright red like the Ruby Woo red, but it's more on the side of like a dusty red color, I would say, but without being too dusty at the same time, without having that too much brown. It's just the most perfect red lipstick I've ever seen. Well, red lip liner, to be honest. I really like the quality of the Swiss Beauty lip liners. They're creamy enough to glide, but at the same time, they are not so creamy that everything is slip and sliding and lipsticks are bleeding. That's not happening at all with these. I feel like the formulation is really good, and for the price, it's really, really very good. So yeah, I'm going to use Nykaa's Ultra Matte Lipstick in the shade Madhu, and I was so happy looking at this color. I have used it like once before, and now I got to use this for this video. I was so happy when it just like brightened up the whole look. with just like one lipstick. Now this Madhu lipstick looks a little brighter, but in person it's not as bright. It's more again slightly red with a slight hint of brownishness. It's a red lipstick. It's not a brown lipstick. It just has that perfect formula. It's definitely a warm shade. Here I'm just fixing a little bit the corner area. I feel it's the hardest for me. I just went over with my foundation brush and then with the lip liner, and I'll be topping that up with the lipstick. You can always fix anything in your makeup. There is like no worry. I used to panic so much when such things happened before, and now over time I've learned it's all right. You can fix it. So that's the end of this makeup tutorial. Thank you so much if you have stuck with me so far to watch this entire makeup look. And if you have any suggestions for new topics for videos, or if you want to see any product review or any suggestions for makeup, let me know all of that in the comments down below. I hope you have a very safe Diwali season.